Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about using tools and strategies to measure volume. So I have a pencil box here and I want you to make a prediction. I'm going to aim my camera down here so you can see. Okay, and then I have here some cubes. How many of these cubes do you think it's going to take me to fill this pencil box? Okay, so keep that in. Okay, so looking at it now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16, 24, 32 cubes. Now, I could really stack another stack on top of this and still be able to close it. So how many do you think that's going to end up being altogether? Well, if I have 32 and then I end up putting 32 more on the next layer, that would be 64 cubes. So what we did was we were figuring out volume. Volume measures how much space a three-dimensional object takes up. Sorry. Okay, so let me share my screen here. We're going to look at some examples here. So yeah, it's just the amount of space taken up by a three-dimensional object measured in cubes. And here's a little picture of 4 blocks in one layer. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't see that side of it, but they show it numbered on the top. And then there's 4 on the bottom layer. That makes 8 cubic units. Okay, so sometimes you have to figure out a figure and you don't have cubes to figure it out. And there's a formula for that. It's called length times width times height. So for example, if I was looking at this one, it says Andrea and Sam's toy box measures 3 feet long, 2 feet wide, and 2 feet high. What is the volume of their toy box? Well, I'd say 3 times 2 is 6, times 2 more would be 12. So it'd be 12 cubic feet. Let's look at another example. Okay, so let's look at this one. So if I was trying to figure out how many cubes are here all together, I would start by counting the ones this way. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 here. And if I count it up this way, right? Because remember, we're doing length times width times the height. Okay, so I'm going to count up this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 that way. Okay, and then I'm counting up my height. 1, 2. There's 2. So then I'm going to multiply. Well, 5 times 4 is 20. And 20 times 2 is what? 40. Okay, so that's how we would do that. Now, sometimes, like I said, there's not always cubes. So let's look at some examples like that. Okay, let's look at these. Okay, it says the Parkers. Oh, let me make it a little bigger. Whoa, too big. Okay, so here's an example. The Parker family refrigerator is 6 feet tall. So see how they put 6 feet. It's 4 feet wide and 3 feet deep. What is the volume of the refrigerator? Well, again, we're going to use length times width times height. Well, I'm going to do 4 times, and I have 3 here. Well, I know 4 times 3, you'll have to pardon my writing on this, is 12. And then I have to do that number times the height. So 12 times 6. Well, let's see. 6 times 2 is 12, and we write it like this. And then 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. So it would be 72 cubic feet. We write it just like that. Okay, so think about that. So how do we find volume? Well, we're going to use length times width times height. And then what is volume? Well, volume is the amount of space taken up by a three-dimensional object measured in cubes. So you're going to do a paper. Let me show you. Sure, I go over this with you if you're just watching the video. Okay, so you got a paper like this in your packet. Okay, so notice the guy says 1 serving is 1 cubic inch. Okay, so for example, you have brownies here and it says 6, 6, and 1. And we're going to do length times width times height. Well, I know 6 times 6 is 36 times 1. Well, anything times 1 is that number itself. So 36 times 1 is 36. So I'm going to put 36. And then when it says servings, well, it says right here, 1 serving is 1 cubic inch. So you're just going to write that same number, 36. Okay, so that's how you're going to do that side. And then on the other side, this one says, which tank is my home? I'm sorry, it's a little blurry. Let's see if I can fix that. No. Okay. Okay, so in this one, it says, find the volume, use the letters to put each fish in the correct tank, color the fish as it is put in the tank. One fish will have to wait on a tank. So that means one of them is not going to be used. So for example, if I look at tank number 1, I'm just going to go, okay, well, it's given me the length, width, and height. So I just multiply 5 times 6 is 30. And then 30 times 4 would be 120. And then I'm going to look and see, oh, there it is. So I'm going to write 120 for inches, and then it's fish B. So I'll put B, and then I can color that one in. Okay, so when you submit your assignment, make sure you submit both sides of your paper.